Welcome, everyone, to episode 12 of season 2 of San Antonio by Night. We join our coterie, the host, as they continue going about their preparations for the oncoming storm, the Camarilla threat that is rumored to be taking position in the city and wanting to do some harm to the Anarchs. Amber, being the official member of the coterie, has been doing a lot of her own little machinations, her own little plots and plans, and has recently made a little bit of a mess. Amber, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about that and get us caught up and your thoughts behind what's going on currently?
Oh god, this is a shit show. Such a fucking shit show. I okay. Well, to put it bluntly, we've been having to deal with someone constituting a possible masquerade breach in the form of one Deacon Johnson. A threat to the coterie herd by the name of one Father Trent. Unfortunately, due to the ever-shifting landscape, any semblance of a plan that I had is kind of decided to do unspeakably horrible things to me. Let's put it that way. And as such, I decided to call on some help. One Miss Violet and one Velda. Well, needless to say, I'm pretty sure that was a good idea, as in 2 nights we've gotten more done than I have in 5. So that's a thing. Makes a girl feel good about herself when she can't do jack shit. But it's not a lot that you can do. Just need to get it done, and hopefully the next time that shit goes pear-shaped, that it might go pear-shaped a little bit more in my favor.
One can only hope. Things have been getting rather sticky lately. But there's one person in this particular group that really doesn't like to sit around and talk, likes to get things done. John.
Right now, it's a hard thing. Trying to end up finding ways to patch yourself up after a hell of a fall. Read the newspaper. Suicide. Hell of a way to go. Though some people need a helping hand to cross that line. And a 5-story fall. Those are 4 stories, couldn't remember. Don't think it much mattered. The person was already badly out of critical care and suddenly put themselves through a break-resistant glass window. If that didn't break their neck, the fall probably did. Now they're gone. That being said, well, just have to end up seeing on how the ladies end up handling it. Because I had nothing to do with it, as far as the public opinion is concerned.
It's all that matters at this point.
Still, find myself heavily taxed right now. So I gotta take it a little easy. Go out, feed, patch myself up. Shoulder just hasn't been working right since I landed. Think I might have cracked my hip. That's old man joke for you.
Those old man brittle bones tend to go to dust fairly quickly for you, but that doesn't stop you, does it?
Well, that's a philosophy I'll have to end up talking about at another time.
Velda, you're one of the new faces to this particular group, this particular domain. And you have slid your way into the good graces of Amber fairly quickly, it seems. So much so that you have a plan of your own to deal with Tyson Trent that, between you and Miss Violet, punching holes in Amber's old plan.
Well, yes. As disappointing as it might be for Amber to have holes punched in her plan, it was very necessary. But when it comes to Father Trent, first of all, I need eyes on the ground. I need to see exactly what we're working with. And in order to do that, we need to step on holy ground, if you will. Thankfully, this church is fairly new, so the chances of it being sanctified or anything of the like, well, that's fairly low. There's always things to look out for. And with Amber herself, I'm more interested in her loving relationship with Mr. Benji, who we woke up last night.
Woke up and tore a person to pieces, it
cute.
seems.
Indeed. That was adorable, by the way. Her interaction with him. I can't wait to see where that leads. Needless to say, I ship it.
And Miss Violet, the other new femme face.
Indeed.
You seem to have a lot of machinations of your own.
Oh. This is merely settling in.
Lots of things get in the way of you settling into San Antonio, having come from Detroit.
Well, one just want to make themselves comfortable after all.
What are your thoughts on your coterie so far? I use air quotes for coterie. You haven't been accepted yet.
Well, they are a rather interesting bunch. I mean, Yorian seems to have his head on straight. He doesn't trust anyone. It's a good start. Amber seems sadly a bit out of her depth. With the right guidance, she could be very competent, but right now I'm just not sure if she's getting the right guidance, which brings me to the other dear newcomer, Velda. She seems overly eager, to put it nicely. I do fear that ambition will bite her one day. And then there's Jar. He is interesting. Bit rough. Well, all rough, if I'm honest, but again, much like Urian, at least he seems to have a head on his shoulders, and he's not afraid to do the dirty work. Past that, well, I still need to meet our dear friend Benji and have a little conversation with him. See what I can do to alleviate his suffering.
The four of you awake I would like rouse checks. John, your belly aches. It's
Might have
desperate.
left too much vitae on the ground on the fall. Fuck.
A little too much spent. A little too much going out and doing the physical work. Seems that stomach rumbling inside of you is desperate to get a meal tonight. The rest, however, have successfully staved off hunger for the time being. It is grumbly, but no more than a whisper. Maybe you'll actually be able to concentrate today. The four of you wake, as John said, to news that the lovely girl Hannah, whom Amber had a conversation with a couple of hours before her untimely demise, seems that she threw herself through safety glass window at 5 stories up at UT Medicine. But it's one of many articles in the paper about a tragic death. So far. Miss Violet had a desire to have a quick conversation with Benji, so we'll start there tonight. You make your way toward the meeting house that the coterie has in place in order to meet other kindred of Delgado's domain, other kindred of other domains that decide to stop by. This seems like, since it has a fairly large living room, it seems like a fairly good place to have conversations. And that is where we find Miss Violet today. And you make your way inside, and you go downstairs to meet Benji, yes?
I do, though I knock on the basement first to announce my presence. It's only polite after all.
Hello? You hear from downstairs, kind of muffled.
Ah, good, you're awake. And I start walking down. I am Miss Violet. I do not believe we have met before, although we have technically, I just do not think you'd remember it. I am one of the people who helped move you here.
Yeah, I kind of had a tarp all over my face, and that's kind of hazy.
I can imagine what you went through was, well, what you are going through is not pleasant.
And when you look at him, Miss Violet, you do see that a bit of the skin over his torso has begun to heal. The arms and legs have started to be less of just the joints and have actually started to grow stumps in place. And possibly one arm, his dominant arm, is a little more progressed than the rest. Seems as if he's purposefully healing that first in order to gain himself some movement. But otherwise, his hair, his face, his torso, the front of it at least, looks better than it was.
You are making improvement, I see. That's good.
Yeah, it's kind of got me a lot more starved than I was shortly after I did that yesterday. I'm hungry.
I'll see what I can do about getting you some food. But
Yeah, because I can't exactly go do that myself right now.
Yes, well, it is an unfortunate position that Jurgen and Amber put you into.
Right. Uh, you're Miss Violet, right? You, how do they know you?
Oh, I introduced myself to them. Amber met me when she was seeking help with a certain issue that is now resolved. You may know his name. The detective? Deacon Johnson?
Yeah. Resolved?
Well, him reassigned and an incompetent rookie put on the investigation with several very, well, I hope implicated threats against Johnson if he continues the investigation in his off time.
Okay. Weird,
I
but
am
okay. It's beyond my real, knowledge base? Question mark?
I understand that, my dear, and that's one of the reasons why I am here tonight, to speak to you without Amber, Urian, or even Velda, who you met overhearing.
Yeah, that one's a weirdie. Just putting that out there right now.
Well, I wonder, Benji, what are your thoughts on this entire situation? How you ended up stuck down here?
It sucks. Because I don't like being immobile.
Do you think you deserve it?
And he kind of pauses for a second and kind of forcefully breathes in. I get that I fucked up. I get that I caused an issue. I get that I'm kindred. What else? I mean, what else is going to, quote, teach a lesson? But,
Oh, the lesson
I mean,
hasn't begun yet, dear. This is merely them setting the stage.
what?
My dear, you, as you just said, don't really work in these circles, so I would like to explain something to you, and for now, please just listen. I don't expect a response, but this is just something to keep in mind. If you were using someone and that person had outlived their usefulness, say you use them to dispose of someone, make a point in court, and then, oh no, you need to use them as a peace offering to, say, a baron, who you may have eliminated one of their chief lieutenants for. Well, they're not just going to go walking into the lion's den easily, are they? Unless you set them up to fail, make a side comment about how another member of the coterie is the only reason you're still alive, make you feel gratitude, make you feel warmth for that coterie member, so that when they ask you to give up your life, well, you're not really in a position to say no, are you? It's already theirs, you've given it to them.
What are you getting at?
I'm saying, my dear Benji, Urian and Amber are using you.
Okay. Why are you telling me this?
Because I don't like seeing people used, at least not without consent. Kind of big on that these days.
Right.
And because I figure maybe the teachers need to be taught a lesson themselves.
Look, I get what you're trying to do, but right now we kind of have bigger problems than infighting, right?
How do you mean?
I mean, the fucking Camarilla's here. Or gonna be here. I don't know. I'm not exactly caught up to date because I've been out for 3 days.
I mean, yes, they are arriving, but I do not believe that you are, despite what Yuri and Amber may tell you, and no offense is meant by this, you are not that vital to their defeat. Otherwise, why have they left you for the past 3 days? Why are you not already back up on your feet?
I don't know. Getting back up on your feet kinda takes a while. I'm not exactly the shrimpiest individual. It takes a lot to rebuild this much flesh.
And even then, they only bothered to give you a body after they'd already found John, who, no offense, given that I'm a decent judge of character, I could kind of say would be a replacement. I mean, he's quite tough. Seems a lot easier just to hire new help than to waste bodies and effort on bringing a new one back up, unless they already had plans for the old one.
Well, I had intentions of talking to Urian at some point, but he hasn't been back yet, so that's kind of on him because I can't move.
Benji, I admire your loyalty. And I understand you have no reason to trust me right now.
No, you sound real like like you're trying to wedge something in here, and I don't like that.
I'm not wedging anything, I'm just helping you see the full picture. Because if you don't see the full picture, they are just using you. And I don't like that. So I can tell you what will likely happen. At some point, in the next few nights, Amber will probably approach you. She will act sympathetic, she will act emotional, but at the same time... Have you ever heard of a blood bond?
Yeah. Yeah, I have.
And you understand its implications.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It, brings up some bad memories.
Yeah. All I will say is remembering that, well, apparently you now owe Amber your life, she may request certain guarantees. Because, well, why would a friend need such a guarantee?
Well, she hasn't asked for me for something like that yet.
As I said, next few nights, we'll see what happens. If I'm wrong, I will happily be wrong. If I'm right, you may want to reevaluate certain relationships while there's still the time.
Okay. Where are you from?
I am originally from Detroit.
Detroit.
Lovely city, if a little burnt down when I left.
Huh. That sucks.
Yes, well, between the Second Inquisition and the Camarilla, there really wasn't much sense in staying.
So, you've encountered the Camarilla coming into a city before?
I have. Well, partially. I cannot say that I was dumb enough to hang around long enough to see what happened because, well...
Why not? Wasn't Detroit your city?
It was. It was many people's cities. But other than a few people, it did not have people willing to step up and defend it. And as much as I hold loyalty to a cause, there is no point backing a failed cause. That's only one way to meet your final death.
Guess it wasn't worth dying for then.
There are some things worth dying for. But a city? Well, even then, maybe some cities, but Detroit wasn't.
Huh. Well, you've given me a lot of food for thought, which, cool.
I'll see if I'm able to bring you some actual food for food later this evening.
That'd be nice. Would I owe you anything for that?
Just that you will actually consider my words and remember them when the time comes that you find yourself in a bad position because of who you've trusted.
Well, let's just say that the people I do trust, I trust way more than anybody else that I ever have. And that includes blood. So breaking that trust is kind of hard.
I understand. I am merely wanting to warn you.
Warning heard? You don't have a lot of friends, do you?
Not yet, not in this city. I would like to count you amongst them, but... well, I'm the new one.
We'll see.
Good night, Benji.
Good night, Miss Violet.
And I'll walk back up the basement and head into town.
Alright. You make your way out of the coterie house and toward the rest of the city. Now, you're wanting to feed for yourself, yes?
I am, but I would like to meet up with John before doing so.
Okay. Then we'll go ahead and see what John is currently up to before me.
That's kind of hard because I doubt he has a cell phone.
Yeah, he's kind of a hard one to get a hold of. So John, where are you at right now?
Right now, I'm just heading out. Looking around to the fun parts of town. Kind of places where people tend to random chemicals into their veins, the kind that crowds street corners with a cup, kind who just lay there, passed out. Looking for rougher ends, places where people don't care, don't want to end up being seen. There's an advantage to it.
And your intent is to take one of these as a meal for tonight?
That is correct.
Then go ahead and roll me. Are you doing this in the sanctuary domain?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then roll me a...
What's up?
Oh, I was going to say, your feeding roll is what exactly?
Strength brawl.
Strength brawl it is. Go ahead and roll me a strength brawl.
Spend willpower.
Okay.
Derek rolls tonight, of course.
I could allow you to succeed at a cost.
What's the cost?
The cost is... You're going to run into someone tonight.
Alright. I'll take it.
So you walk through the alleys, and you take advantage of the fact that these people don't necessarily get up and move a whole lot. You use your little gift of compel to lure someone, once they're by themselves, into another secluded place where no one can see, taking advantage of the shadows, and you sink your teeth into their neck.
I'd like to end up rolling rouse to heal.
Okay.
Number feed. Pass both.
All right. Very cheap night. And how many
I
are
will
taking?
take-
Just the two to cover that?
Does this person seem to have any fight in them? Or are they just passively accepting their fate?
High or low?
Hi.
What little fight they have is not a lot.
But they're fighting.
They're pretty hopped up on whatever they've been taking.
If that's the case, then they don't have enough fight to do that, then I will take it all.
That constitutes as straight up murder. With your conviction taken into account, that's only 2 stains.
I drop the body over a manhole. Proceed to stomp the jaw in. Let what little blood there is trickle into the sewers. Give it an excuse to be drained. So what would you like me to roll to cover it up? Cover up and kill this individual.
That would be... First make me... Let's see what we're looking at here, because I am drawing a blank. Let's go with... Strength subterfuge.
Strength subterfuge, sure thing. successes.
No one would know the wiser whether or not this is someone who fell victim to a kindred or fell victim to some other assault that drained them.
Well, I'm taking the wallet, so at the very least, this just looks like a mugging. I just assume he was killed by a meth head or something.
Very brutal mugging indeed.
But yeah, I take what money there is there and leave the credit cards and all that. Should be enough for a cab. If you don't have the fight, you ain't worth the life. And I start heading to the gathering place because I don't know what's going up, but I will use the money to pick up the local paper.
Is there anything else besides what we started the night with the information about Hannah that you're looking for in the paper tonight?
Nothing particular. Maybe something will catch my eye, but I'm not going out of my way.
Okay. You have it in your possession. You read the article about Hannah, written by a man named Clifford Liam.
Clifford Liam. Well, keep that in mind.
And you make your way back to the meeting house. On your way in that direction, though, you do see the vehicle of Miss Violet that you have seen before.
Might save me the hit, save me the trip. Walk on over to it. She in the car?
Miss Violet, you have been driving a little bit through the domain, seeing if you can spot John, but it's only when you stop and park for a minute to, I don't know, do something a little bit more of your mundane routine today that you spot him walking toward you.
I roll down the window as he approaches. Hey, sugar. You charge by the hour or by the act?
Hilarious.
I'll get you to laugh one of these days.
I'm sure. I'll remember you said that. So what brings you out here tonight, sweet cheeks?
I need to feel and then I need to go talk to our boss. Well, my boss. You don't really like him yet, do you?
To be fair, I don't like much of anybody.
Honestly spoken.
Don't have any reason to hide it.
You definitely don't. So, what about you? Are you out for a bite to eat, or have you already fed?
I already fed and was tipped quite handsomely for it. Nobody misses their type anyway.
Fair enough.
You can invite me in, or should I just walk home?
I'll reach over and pop the other side of the door.
Appreciate it. He gets in and closes, observes the vehicle, getting an idea of who he's driving with.
It's neat enough. Handbag behind the driver's side door, or the driver's side seat. It's a neat-looking sports car. You think probably some European make, possibly a Porsche or something fancy like that. It's not loud though. Like it more purrs than it roars.
John doesn't really say much. He just kind of looks out the window, surveying the city. Tries to keep an eye out, but he's really not sure what Violet's type might be. It's funny that way, I guess.
Violet, are you doing a hunting roll in the domain?
I would be.
Okay. Then, roll your hunting roll.
That would be charisma, persuasion plus seduction.
Perfect. And are you going to one of the bars, local bars in the domain to do that, or are you going to a club? Where are we going?
I'd be heading, well, seeing as John is with me, I'd be heading more to a bar. Preferably one with like a small outside area. Someplace where I can easily find someone with a little bit too much alcohol and a little less common sense.
Then go ahead and roll your hunt.
That is 6.
Without much issue at all. You have... This person is putty in your fingers. They are exactly the type that you like when going to a dive bar like this, and they're exactly in the state that you want them to be in. I am going to roll a d10 for both to see if you have resonance on both of your feeding rolls. For John, it's bland. Nothing really of any interest in that one. Miss Violet, however, does have a bit of a taste on their person of choice. And I have... This person's foreign. It doesn't seem like they have much in the way of commonality in the case of English. Their English is so broken that they're having trouble communicating with you, but there is nothing lost in that. You have a choleric resonance and a clot on top of it. Add 1 dice to all rolls to reduce seduction to yourself, including presence rolls. So you are more resistant to presence right now. John, you are keeping watch, and your eyes are watching the alleyways, the shadows, the lights are a little bit, make your eyes a little cranky, but you pass over them. But you do see that there is an individual who is approaching the alleyway.
Is this a person of note? Someone I might know?
Someone from the city, you think? Because they don't necessarily have any indicators that they're kindred of any kind. But they have long hair, a beard, a patch over an eye, and they seem to be carrying a spray can in their hand, going toward the alley in which Miss Violet is occupying.
I take out a quick sheet of paper while Miss Violet's gone. Just alleyway, arrow. Lay it down so the arrow's facing the alleyway, put it in the driver's seat. Close the door, lock it behind. And I'm gonna start following him.
Are you being particularly stealthy? Are you walking up to him?
A bit.
Obvious. Okay, then go ahead and roll a dexterity plus stealth, or composure.
And I'm gonna use. And as I step in, the alley just gets a little bit darker. That'll work.
You silently walk behind this individual. They have a spray can in their hands. It seems as if they go deeper into the alley, and when they stop, you see that they have stopped at a symbol of an upside-down pentagram. They start to spray a symbol of their own, kind of looking for you. So let's roll their awareness check. Doesn't spot you, leaves his mark, exits the alley.
What's the mark look like?
An upside-down anarchy symbol.
I'm gonna meet him as he exits the alley. Specifically get in his way. Pass over.
Oh, pardon me, he says. And he tries to sidestep you.
You know, I knew around here, but I don't remember seeing your face. But you know the lingos. No, I gotta assume you're native.
Native, yeah. What is it to you?
You apparently want to get in touch with the big guy, right?
Who are you?
Some random John looking for a friend. Unfortunately, you're not my type, but I figured I might be friendly nevertheless. Highway stinks of spray paint right now. Thought I would just offer a courtesy.
What kind of a courtesy?
Well, you're leaving a mark on someone's territory, you want their attention.
What of it? What's your business? It's not any of your business.
Figure I'd just let you know. Could have been rude and just made some very brash assumptions.
That's true.
But I introduced myself and you didn't introduce yourself.
Name's Randy.
I was hoping for old one eye.
Don't let it fool you. I can see just
Why,
fine.
the other one's underneath there. Still working.
I'll let you keep on guessing.
Alright then, Randy. You take care of yourself. Hope to see you again real soon.
We'll see. And he begins to walk off.
Well,
It's about this time that
Back.
Miss Violet's finished with her feed, and the two of you can meet back up in whatever manner you so choose.
I probably get to the car, see the paper, and I just wait to see what happens.
You see that at the mouth of the entrance to the alleyway that the paper points toward, there is a man with an eye patch who stops in front of John, or John stops in front of him rather, and they have a conversation, and the two part ways.
I just watch this and wait for John to come back over.
I eventually show up in the car. Wait for the missus to unlock the door. And just step on in.
I roll my eyes and sort of duck inside the car. Do you want to tell me what that was about, or are you going to keep me in suspense all night?
Oh, that. Just saying hi to an old friend.
Didn't think you'd have many old friends around here, but then again, I guess any friend is your oldest friend right now.
How about you? You make friends?
I try. I mean, I'd like to be friends with you, but I don't think you'd appreciate the offer.
Yeah, I suppose that would be right. So, alright, what's on the itinerary today?
Well, with the other two away dealing with this priest situation, and I really hope that this time they won't need our help. I actually need to go talk to the boss. And then afterwards see about getting another snack for our friend in the woods.
Well, I've always found that if you're gonna end up doing that, lay some rabbit snares or, yeah, living catch situations, cages. Leave them out in the woods for a while. You get something. Let me feed that something to the boy.
I think that's a delightful idea. I mean, better than the alternative, at least. Do you want me to take you back to your car, or do you want to come see the boss as well?
I follow along. Could be useful.
Alright. The club it is.
I think for now, we're going to part ways with John and Miss Violet. And we're instead going to meet up with Velda and Amber. The two of them have gone about preparing for the meeting that they have, well, not so much arranged, but have personally set up to get the lay of the land of Prince of Peace Catholic Church. Velda, why don't you describe us what your disguise currently looks like?
Blonde, in order to match my lovely blue eyes. And of course, some more pastel-y colours. Sweet, innocent. Not too innocent, though. Far cry from my usual dress sense.
Has Amber donned a disguise as well?
Yes, I have. It seems that Velda and I have swapped hair color, as I am currently wearing a rather long black wig. And, again with some... Actually, bits of clothing style not changed so much. and probably with a pair of contacts in to change my steel blue-eyed colors to a more of a greeny color, just because the eyes are very striking. Kind of need to change that, or otherwise it would give me away.
How smart of you. The two of you come to the parking lot of this particular Catholic church. You see that the lights inside are dim. It is not well lit inside currently. You get the sense of the yard that yes, while it might be a fairly new church, it is well kept. The grounds are very green. The building very beautiful to look at. At least there you've got that going for you. And you get the sense from the grounds that a lot of care is taken into this place. It's a fairly large building. You gather that the interior sanctuary is fairly large. It does have a number of exterior hallways that branch off from the building. And then there's the parish building in the back. What do you intend to do?
Lovely. I'm going to... I can't personally do the accent, but Velda is going to shift her accent more towards her homeland accent, which is Romanian.
Mm.
And she is going to turn to Amber and say, I assume you're very well acquainted with Catholic tradition?
Amber would nod. I mean, she knows the basics of Catholic tradition.
Being a native of San Antonio, most everybody does.
In order to add to the disguise, Amber would respond, letting the tinges of French, of her French accent, something that she had when she was first learning English when growing up in Quebec City. She would let that tinge her voice. I am aware of Catholic tradition.
Good to hear. Now, we need to... In case we are asked. We are passing through. Backpackers, if you will. And this just so happens to be a stop on our route.
See the sides.
It's been so long since I confessed. And I have been a truly naughty girl.
You and me both, dear. You and me both.
And with that, Velda would climb out of the car and make her way for the front door.
And Amber would follow. As keep the act up.
Okay. The both of you walk into the main building of the church, and it is as large on the inside as you had expected. The podium area lifted on a small, like 6-step platform where the pulpit is on the left-hand side looking in, and there is a beautiful crucifix at the very end of it. The windows are stained glass, though from the outside you wouldn't have been able to tell really, because of the simple fact that the light coming out from the low light doesn't shine through them very well at night. But there are rows and rows of pews. The back of the when you pass the entrance a little bit, you do see that there is a balcony level with what looks to be sound and video equipment.
I see. Looking around, can I see where the cameras are placed?
There's the big major camera in the sound equipment, the video and sound equipment booth. If you want to see if there are other cameras, go ahead and make me a wits plus awareness.
Any modifiers?
Nope. Not unless you have a specialty. That's a messy crit.
Oh,
Do you
boy.
want to fix that?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and roll dice to fix it.
How many am I rolling? 2?
You can roll up to the 2.
You can roll up to 2, or just take the 10 and re-roll it.
I think I'll just re-roll the 10. What's the other one? Yeah, I'll just re-roll the 10.
Okay, so that changes it from a critical 3 to a simple 3. Well, it would have been a 5 critical, but changes it to a 3. You look around the rest of the building and kind of gauge where you think other cameras would possibly be, and you don't see anything.
Interesting. No security. Huh. She nudges Amber and she says, "It's quite a lovely church, isn't it? Interesting that that's the only technology in here too."
Maybe the father is a bit of a traditionalist.
I've seen his online sermons. They're quite interesting.
It's about that moment from one of the side hallways in the of the building that you see an older gentleman with glasses, slightly drooping skin, but very soft eyes, begin to walk into the main portion of the sanctuary. Good evening, ladies.
Good evening, Father.
Can I help you with something?
Oh, we just thought to pop by the church. We have been watching your lovely videos online, and we were passing through the area.
I am glad that you have stopped by. I was not necessarily expecting guests.
I'm sorry, is the church not open?
It is. I just don't often have people coming in. Most people just send me a text.
Oh, I see. You don't usually have an audience.
What do you mean by audience? As in private conversation?
No, people filling the pews.
It is currently 9:30 in the evening. On a Thursday.
Well, yes. people don't come in for confession?
Well, that's a whole nother thing. If that is your desire, then I can certainly do that.
That would be appreciated, Father.
Then I'll give you a moment to prepare. And he goes back through the hallway to go through the back entrance of a confessional, which is in the corner of the main sanctuary.
Velda casts Amber a glance and smirks. Do you have any sins that you wish to confess?
No, I don't think I do.
Then it's just me then. She makes her way up to the confessional booth and slips inside.
Okay. And it's a fairly typical confessional booth where you have a little bit of a seat in which you can either sit or kneel, and a very beautiful image of the crucifix and the kind of obfuscating screen between what you assume is the other side of the confessional. And shortly after you enter, you hear a door open and close, and someone sit at the seat.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned.
Tell me of your sins, child.
I have been away from confession for a long time. And I have done many awful things. Broken many tenets.
As
I
I'm sure
have-
someone who has spent a long time away from church has. But you came specific.
I have succumbed to my lust, Father. And I have lied. I have told many lies.
I'm sure we would be here all night if you were to expound them all. The Lord knows.
But I've lied on my reason for being here, Father.
Then please tell me why you are here.
I find myself attracted to you. Your sermons, they inspire such feeling. I've been watching you for a while, Father.
My child, while I am flattered, that is not something that you can partake in.
Of course, Father. But this is confessional, and I shall confess.
And your sin has been confessed.
Perhaps I shall return before I need to leave.
Perhaps. And he gives you what the kind of traditional kind of penance prayer rigmarole that a father of the church would give for someone who's been out of the church for so long. And exit the booth.
She would also exit the booth. So as I exit the booth, is there So there's just the camera up the top. Can I see any way to get up there from the main church?
There are the side staircases, which would lead because there are additional seats up there as well. But yeah, it's pretty easy to get to.
She turns back to the booth and she says, "A father."
You don't hear an answer.
You must have retreated. Shall we explore? This place is so lovely.
I think we shall.
So are you wanting to explore the premises further?
Mm-hmm. Particularly up those stairs.
Okay. Go ahead and make me then. How long are you willing to spend on this? Because if you think you need to take your time, use resolve. If you need to be quick, then use wits plus investigation. And if you're both going to do so, both pick the same stat.
What do you think? Slow or quick? I'd say probably about half an hour to check the place out.
Honestly, it's the same for me either way. I have no dots in investigation, and both my wits and resolve are at 2 dots, so going quick or slow, it doesn't change the result. I'm just as oblivious either way.
We'll go rather quick, so wits.
Okay. Are you sticking together or finding separate things?
Your choice, Amber.
I'll stick with Velda.
Then Velda, add a +1 to your roll instead.
Oof.
Ooh. That didn't roll any dice.
That didn't roll any dice.
Why did that not do that?
Try it again.
Okay, that was weird. Investigation plus wits.
With +1.
Nope. Hang on. I might be typing something in wrong.
Don't use a plus when
Yeah,
adding
that's what I
+1.
was doing.
Yeah, it already knows to add it. 2 successes. So you go up to the booth, and you find sound equipment. You find video equipment. You find a place where a laptop can be plugged in, but that laptop is not currently present. You find a number of what you would suspect is equipment that leads to the rest of the building for like sound systems and things like that, so that things can be heard all over. Are you looking for something specific?
No, I was just looking at general layout. So unless the laptop is there, chances are that he cannot broadcast.
You get that kind of suspicion.
This is the control center and the brain's missing.
Yes. Very much so. Let's see. So it's just... There's a camera there, there's sound there, but there's no laptop present. The cables are all there.
Mm-hmm.
And there doesn't appear to be any other cameras around from this vantage point.
Doesn't seem to be.
Interesting. And he was confused about why people were in to confess on a Thursday evening.
Nosy, nosy. You hear a very feminine voice come out from underneath the balcony.
Hmm?
Do you have any reason to be up there?
We were simply exploring and taking a look at the wonderful view from up here.
A little bit nosy of you, don't you think?
Is it? I apologize if it seems so.
Are you still using your Romanian accent?
Yes.
Or are you caught off guard and using your default?
No, she's sitting there in that accent the whole time she's in this church.
Mind if I join you?
Of course.
And she comes up to comes up these stairs and kind of enters the multimedia booth with you. I think you're gonna have to confess again.
Confess as to what?
Being nosy.
That's fair. I'm Delta, by the way. Nice to meet you.
Delta. Nice to meet you. My name's Leslie.
Nice to meet you, Leslie.
And she looks to Amber, and you are?
Natalie.
Natalie. I would like you both to roll me a wits plus subterfuge, or manipulation plus subterfuge.
Happily. Oh boy. That's uh-oh.
Are you gonna fix that?
I don't know if I can. Oh, actually, no, I can. Yeah, I'm gonna willpower those 2 10s. Because there's 2 of them. Yep, so that'll turn it into a normal 6 rather than 8.
She kind of nods at the both of you. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you.
The pleasure is all ours. Are you a part of the congregation?
New to the congregation, but yes.
I see. Is it strange for people to be in here on a Thursday? The father seemed rather confused.
Well, I don't think he was expecting other pretty ladies such as yourselves.
Other?
As in, the 3 of us are very charming and very beautiful.
Oh,
I was
thank you.
speaking with him earlier, just now.
I see. Are you and the father close?
No, as I said, I'm new. Confessional
Well, we're just
and all
passing
that.
through. We're just passing through the city, and we thought to stop in. I'm a big fan of the father's work.
Are you truly a fan? She's reading. Yeah. She's trying to read you hard.
No, she's not really.
Well, with this being kind of a bit more of a modern thing, Father Trent is a little bit backward in the when it comes to technology, so he does have people who do help him in regards to that. Is there something that someone can answer for you?
Oh no, I just wanted to see where the magic happened.
Well, now you have.
Indeed.
But I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to leave. And I would like you to roll me an intelligence plus resolve.
Ooh. Interesting.
And your body seems to work on its own. Unless you're going to change that with the willpower.
No.
Then your body works on its own. You are not piloting your body anymore. You are leaving the premises. And Amber, she turns to you as well and says, please leave. And does so to you. Please roll me an intelligence plus resolve. And she's spending a willpower on that one.
Yeah, I'm gone.
And when the both of you exit the building, the doors shut behind you and they lock.
How interesting.
That's... Is there any way to identify what just happened?
If you want to try and identify what happened, both of you roll an intelligence plus occult.
Any modifiers?
Nope, unless you have specialties.
Oof. I'm gonna have to willpower that one.
I mean, it's just a straight out intelligence. Question.
Oh,
Would a situational modifier occur considering I've seen something like this before from Urian?
I don't recall that you've seen Urian do this in person.
Okay.
So no.
Well, on that... Alright. Just thought that I would ask. I will make my very, very shitty occult roll.
No. Both of you have no idea at all what just happened. She told you to leave, and you left. That's all you know.
Whatever
that's
the hell that was.
intriguing.
That wasn't, yeah, not what I was expecting.
That's not a normal human capability.
No, it's not. But I suppose
Is she
it does go...
kindred?
I don't know. Maybe. I have no idea. But
I believe this
suppose-
is new information that should go back to Mr. Doyle.
yes, it is, and I suppose it also wipes Plan A off the slate, does it not?
Mm-hmm.
Now I think it's time to move to Plan B.
And Plan B will be planned out and commence after we take a quick break. Don't go anywhere, everyone. Welcome back, everyone, to episode 12 of San Antonio by Night. The individuals of our little chronicle have been attempting to find out more information about Father Trent, to find out more information about their new coterie mates, as well as formulate plans and try and put those plans into action. For now, however, while Amber and Velda are at the church stumbling across whatever they can find, Miss Violet has brought John with her to Club Lush, where Urian's been spending a lot of his time kind of helping Carlos, Alfonso, and Fox get established in this particular club, build it up to be their own. We find them in conversation in the lounge section of the bar, the walls of glass kind of blocking some of the music to make conversation a little bit more feasible. And the two Thin Bloods and Carlos are off in the club doing mundane work, it would seem. Mrs. Val.
Thank you for seeing us this evening, dear Urian.
I have to assume that this is a pressing matter. I hope that the evening has treated you well, Miss Violet.
It has treated me well so far. After all, it is not yet over.
I always suspected you were into older gentlemen, but this is not what I expected. I hope you're doing well with each other. Well enough, I suppose. So, what brings you to here?
Well, seeing as Amber and Velda are away trying to deal with their little problems, we thought we would come back and, well, I want to update you on the current situation, and I was lucky enough to run into John this evening, and he figured he'd tag along.
Yeah. John ends up pulling out a paper, flips to an appropriate article, and places it down in front of Yuri. So you don't have to worry about it. You can rest easy. It's gone. Yuri picks up the paper, observes it, tries to take a forced breath in as he reads through it, folds it up. Such a waste.
Sadly, we weren't left with many other opportunities after dear Amber visited her and left her in a rather distressed state.
Enough to end up driving a woman to send herself to freefall.
Indeed, and sadly unnoticed by anyone else.
This disturbs me greatly. I will deal with the family in due time. So, mission accomplished, I assume, and Miss Benji's little mistake has been handled. So, by all means, what can I do for you two this evening?
Well, I actually came to keep you up to date on other news as well. Detective Johnson has been, well, disciplined by his boss, looking into unwanted investigations during his off time, and has been summarily taken off the case, and a rather naive new lieutenant put in charge of it in his stead. He's got a lot on his workload. I doubt he'll get round to this in any real hurry. Just another
One
missing
can hope.
person case.
Well done. And this was your doing.
Well, Amber asked me to resolve it, and so I resolved it.
Urian thinks about it for a second. He kind of studies you for a moment. Well. Very well then. It would seem then, Miss Violet, you've earned a place at the table.
I'm honored, although I do feel before I accept that place, in full disclosure, as a result of the meeting you so kindly arranged with Baron Batista, I will now be establishing a haven in her domain, although I would still like to maintain our friendship, if
Of
the
course.
place is still open.
Of course. I am finding myself managing quite a bit of expectations these evenings. But you have informed me. A kindness I appreciate. And I am so glad that the example made from Benji did not go to waste upon you.
Oh no, the message was quite clear. Speaking of, regarding the other thing, I can offer you tonight in return for sanctuary that of which you ask, if you will accept it.
No. Not this evening. I ask when appropriate. What exactly he's getting at. Nothing you should be concerned with, Mr. Bell. It's at this point I would like to end up knowing your mind. As well that you've said that you had aspirations. How might I assist in forwarding them? Rising tides and all.
Well, I'm not gonna lie when I like to see a part of the bigger picture, your bigger plans. I only know what Amber has let slip. She is quite a loyal devotee of yours.
One can only hope. Loyalty is a trait I value highly. And opportunities come to those who remain loyal.
That's why I worry for Velda's voice in her ear. I mean, you have heard about the incident at the club, right? Not this one, your other club.
Double check.
Urian, you had been informed by Carlotta.
Yes, I have heard that she decided to make quite the spectacle.
mean, I won't deny I was there, but I did not expect her to go through that extent just to get into a club. I'm just glad I was able to talk her away before it became an even more messy incident.
The young often act in brash behavior. So,
Besides, it all worked out well in the end, after all. That was the reason we met dear John here.
oh goody. Yes, I imagined it was quite the event. John, leave us for a moment. I would choose to share my mind with Miss Velvet in private. John kind of rolls his eyes and starts to stand up. Well, just flag me down then. I'm at your disposal. He starts to walk into the crowd. Maybe he's looking for something to eat again, or just a way to vent frustrations.
There is something so refreshing about his bluntness.
A lack of tact can be a powerful weapon when timed with opportunity. Still, you asked for a look into the bigger plan. How big? I go too far and everything means nothing. I go too shallow and you're disappointed.
Well, assuming that the girls can deal with good Father Trent this evening, that was their plan. I suppose our next big issue would be the visiting members of the tower that has everyone so spooked.
I can confirm by a very reliable source that they are already here.
Oh, I do not doubt it.
Then consider this confirmation on suspicion.
And how do you plan to survive this visit?
That presumes something, doesn't it?
That you plan to survive?
He kind of raises a brow.
Amber let slip that, well, Yuri and Doyle might not be long for this world.
Perhaps. Perhaps she simply has wishful thinking and wishes to take my place. I'm curious on who would allow such a thing to transpire. No, you knowing Amber well enough to know her shortcomings as a taskmaster.
I certainly do not plan it, but then again I am not the one who has her ear these nights. That rather goes to her sister of the Rose.
Yes, well, let them gossip. Gossip is useful in distraction and only in distraction. I don't deal with maybes. But you asked what I was going to do. I want them to try and establish themselves. I want them to build. You see, it is in the Camarille's nature to need control over all facets. Old habits die hard, I suppose. They need a base of operations, power, a place to sleep in a city full of anarchs hunting them. There's only so many places you can go. And the more you know, the more attention you can draw. Sometimes it takes naught but that thin blood with a Molotov to endure an entire city against you. It becomes rather difficult. But I do know that it will not come in force. This stinks of personal vendetta.
Now, who could they be holding a grudge against?
Perhaps a escapee from the Motor City.
If any of them even knew my name, I would consider that flattery.
I think you underestimate the lives and the memory of those who have been older than you. But once they start to place roots, you can follow where they go. As of right now, they are akin to vagabonds.
Why run around the city trying to find an enemy when you can wait for them to fall asleep at home?
Precisely. And that, again, is precisely why it is I wait. That is why my evenings are caught in teaching those younger than me. That is why I secured a package not too long ago through particular mortal means to defend myself. And I am acquiring more assets, more things to understand. When I am finished, this domain would be as a fortress to kindred.
And if it's the only safe domain, all the more kindred to come here for safety instead of the other barons.
I suppose that would be a unforeseen benefit in my position. But I must be selective. If I were to accept everyone, my entire domain would be drained in a matter of a few weeks. Not exactly set for siege.
You expect it to become a siege?
Such encounters can often go for 2, 3, or more 100 years. So yes, I expect a siege.
Well, this has been most enlightening.
And it's about that moment that Velda and Amber start walking through the door.
Well, don't we just have the whole club here?
That we do.
Mr. Doyle, it's a pleasure to see you.
And to you, Velda. So glad that this place became so much more, well, uplifted by your two presence.
I'm glad you would think so.
So, what brings you to the Lush?
Velda kind of pushes Amber forward.
She's formulating her words. On the matter of a particular father, it seems the game has changed yet again. It seems like he has kindred back up. Or at the very least, something unnatural.
And this surprised you?
I'm not going to lie, a little. Because he seems to be blissfully unaware. So either the father's an amazingly good liar, or someone has set seeds in his congregation, and
He
he's not
reads-
aware of it.
He reads from a book of lies. Of course he's a good liar.
The father's clueless. No, it seems there is somebody in his midst that is quite interesting, though. A woman. Dark hair, well, brownish. Brownish red? Somewhere there.
Auburn hair.
Who spotted us out and approached us. And she said she's a newcomer to the congregation. She seemed very guarded. And then she ordered us both to leave. And I don't know about Amber, but I had no choice but to obey.
Yep, same thing happened here.
That does not seem human to me.
Did you catch the name of this creature that watches over Trent?
The name she gave was Leslie. But if she was careful, I doubt that name would be accurate. Especially considering Amber and I also gave false names. Delta and Natalie, if you would.
Coffee, just to check, from what's been given so far, I would not make the connection. In this stuff so far has been too vague for me to make the connection.
If that is the case, I will meet with this one. Given that Amber has been at the forefront of this, and Miss Violet has been successful in her endeavor, I would like Miss Violet to assist Amber in that regard.
Of course.
Velda, I would prefer to be with John for the time being. Perhaps you can teach him some table manners.
I doubt it, but I'll try.
Yes. Is there any other subjects that I need to address this evening?
I owe you an apology.
He looks to Velda.
Pardon?
He looks to you, Velda.
I apologize, as I have messed up. I made a mistake at the other club. Something slipped out that I did not intend. My attempts to fix it went tits up, if you will.
And what is being done of it now?
I am not sure. I've asked Amber for assistance, but I'm still formulating something to do about it.
Well, given how the three of you have solved the previous problem, he pushed the paper with the article of the suicide on it. I would suspect similar tactics. So, much as it bereaves me, see that it is done. Perhaps John can assist you in that way.
Of course.
Anything else that needs to be assessed?
Benji has been awoken.
So I've been told.
He's quite an interesting fellow.
Benji is an individual who still has not come to grips with the full repercussions of what he has done. I would have him meditate further upon it, so that when he is whole, he can avoid making the same mistake.
Understandable.
Well, if that is the case, then I'm not exactly sure what can be done tonight. I believe this Leslie character locked the doors after us.
And
Okay.
this stops you how?
Well, whilst getting into the church again shouldn't be too much of a hassle, it's just a matter of whether anyone will be there when we return.
I'm sure the father has a home address we could pay a visit to.
It's true. I'm sure it wouldn't be too hard to do some searching at his home address.
Amber, before you go,
You gonna say something?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious myself. It sounded like I'm worried I just got disconnected.
Yeah, I was worried about that too.
Yeah. So you're cutting out.
Velda.
I will very quickly
Ah.
go and see.
There we are.
it's cutting out. She says, Amber, before you go, make sure you change how you look. Don't
Yeah.
go as the same girl.
Well,
Either of
yes.
them.
Yes, of course. So, stop by my haven will be a little detour. Shall I get on to this now then?
Indeed. And with regards, Velda, to John, I must say he had an amazing idea earlier tonight for securing a, shall we say, inconspicuous food source for Benji. He was talking about going out into the woods with some traps. I hope you two have a lovely evening together.
Interesting thought. I shall be sure to assist.
Pardon, Velda, but you do not strike me as the type who ends up getting their hands dirty.
Not usually, but if I have to, I have to.
I hope you keep that attitude. That being said, do any of you require the need to feed at this current moment?
I do not, thankfully.
Very well then. If If there's nothing else, I must return to the Thin Bloods and my child. An education that is being rushed is something that I despise, and yet that is what must be done.
Well,
Oh.
it seems like
Please,
Go
go on. Very well. Velda,
Yes.
would you be able to stay for a moment? Now, Amber, and Violet, too. Well, take their leave. I'd like to discuss something with you.
Of course.
I wish you both a very good evening.
He waits until they're out of earshot, letting the club drown out their noises. He leans into Velda. So, what caused you to upset the Sedite?
I am actually not all that sure.
They seem fairly upset with you.
They seem to have made me into a target.
And you think you are blameless in this?
I am probably not, but what can I say? I'm not unused to this sort of behavior. I assume she has said something to you.
She's a Setite. She didn't need to say anything.
She didn't need to, but I bet she did.
You can presume all that you wish. But, at this current point, whatever relations you have with your sister in court, that comes to a stop now. I need you focused on John and what his machinations prove.
Of course.
Ember may be out of her depth, but at this current time, between the four of you, the three of them, and every other individual I have to maintain, I cannot have a bunch of child or second guessing one another. So learn. Your task, such as it is to end up heading out. And you said that there was Amber was dealing with this Father Trent. I want you to end up meeting this. What was her name again?
Leslie.
Leslie. And I wish for you to extend invitation to her to Club Lush to be hosted by Yuri and Doyle one night or tomorrow night. I wish to end up speaking with this one and get an understanding of who I am dealing with and why they protect the father.
Of course. Is there anything else you would like while I'm at it?
Plenty, but nothing you could afford to give.
Very well.
Be well. Miss von Visgo Altenberg.
Von Sventgal zu Altenberg.
And with that, Velda, do you leave Club Lush?
Yes.
And Urian is left to go about schooling the Thin Bloods and Carlos in the rushed manner that he is. we'll switch over to Amber and Violet. Going back to the church, I assume.
We were going to do a bit of a search for Trent's home address and look from there, because there is an assumption that the church is closed. Although we can check the church first.
You would come across the father has no known home address aside from the church.
That is odd.
Indeed, very interesting. Well, fancy a late night visit?
I also would have, before we reached the church, I would have stopped by my haven to very quickly freshen up and change appearances once again.
Perfect.
Different set of contacts, different wig, different clothing, different makeup.
Violet would be doing the same. She, not necessarily to a different wig, unless Amber has one to spare, but she definitely has a bag in the back of her car with a different set of sort of more casual-looking clothes.
Mm.
Amber would have a spare wig. Amber has quite a number of wigs, mainly because of the fact that if you want to do different hairstyles and your hair is as Amber's is, and with her nature, you gotta have wigs. It's one of the first things that she invested in, so that she can mix it up.
By the way, Amber dear, I am opening up a club soon in the city that caters to people of discerning interests and tastes. If you ever feel like you would like to perform, and, well, all I can say is my rates are very agreeable.
I suppose it is something that I will keep in mind. But Violet, I'd like to pick your brain on something.
Go ahead.
Brian is under the assumption that I'm responsible for the suicide that has plagued the city this night.
Last night, dear. We only learned about it this night.
Last night. I must ask, you didn't mention John's participation in any of that, did you?
Would it matter if I did? Ultimately, you were the one Urian left in charge. Any actions fall upon your shoulders.
It does. But it's distasteful to be seen as a murderer.
Darling, bluntly, we are undead creatures of sin and violence.
Oh, indubitably. I suppose it's more a matter of, if I'm going to have to take responsibility for a death, then it should at the very least be me that's caused it.
That is noble, but also ultimately I feel short-sighted. You did cause that death last night. When you went into that hospital. when you showed her your face, when you caused her to panic, when you left us no other choice but to deploy such extreme measures. Just because it was not your hand around her throat does not mean your actions led to that event.
Well, I suppose in that case you're not incorrect. But let us see about this church. It'd be easier for us to talk amongst ourselves about things that have happened over the past 2 nights. Let's instead focus on what's at hand.
Do you have a plan?
If what comes up here turns out to be fruitless, then yes, I have a plan.
Would you mind enlightening me of the plan?
I have come into contact with a reporter who right now has been interested in the things that have been happening as far as Father Trent goes and the death of poor Hannah. I owe him a little bit of information and said that she committed suicide. It would be easy to feed into the rumor mill that as a member of a non-Christian congregation, shall we say, that someone may have decided to harass her.
And what does that do other than get more attention onto someone we want to disappear and be forgotten? You would shine a light directly onto the person we just spent considerable effort to eliminate.
Right. I suppose that is, it would have people digging. Again, this is just a thing if our little search of the church comes up fruitless. So I suppose we should save that discussion for, well, dependent on what we find.
I duly expect we'll find, well, given the fact he has no known other address, at least the father, and quite possibly this. What did you say her name was?
Leslie.
It's quite possible that she will be there as well.
When we see her again, I'm very curious to find out how she managed to make us leave in the way that she did. That did not feel normal. That's all I'm going to say, and it's piqued my curiosity.
Are you sure she was human?
Well, that's why I'm saying I'm very curious. She looked human, for all intents and purposes.
My dear, we look human.
Yes, but I mean, you know, not like a walking corpse. I mean, she looked like she had a heartbeat, that blood flowed through her veins. Either she's not human and she was using the, what do they call it, flush of life?
I've heard it referred to as such, but yes.
Or there is something else unnatural going on here.
Shall we find out?
We shall. Let us see if we can get into the church. You know, just by going through the door.
So the two of you exit your vehicle or leave the vehicles in the parking lot as you've been discussing and walk up to the doors of the main section of the building, and you find that they are still indeed locked.
I walk. Well, actually, before we get out, I would have driven round the building. Is there any sort of side doors, small sort of granny flats attached to it? Any sort of like sign of someone still there, like lights on, etc.
There's a light on in the little parish building that that is in the back. To circle around the back of the building is to also get out of your car, as there's no car-sized alleyways. So, even doing a perimeter around the building, you would be getting out of your vehicles anyway.
I also would have parked a little ways away just so that my car can't be identified as in the parking lot again, because I showed up in with Velda in that same car, and the last thing I need is that being identified again.
I would have also parked down the street after doing sort of that initial drive-by and walked back.
Okay.
Any external security cameras?
You're seeing external security cameras. And they're blatantly obvious because they're black up against a kind of whitish building.
Very much there to deter as much to capture.
Exactly.
That doesn't bode well.
I would like to approach the... Sorry, my mind just went blank. What did you call the building again? The parish?
The parish building, it's usually,
Yeah.
in the case of these things, is a little kind of apartment building that serves as both as an office and maybe a home address.
I would like to approach and sort of... Is Amber coming with me?
Yes.
And both of you are approaching the building in the back. And you said you want to give it a knock?
A knock or a doorbell.
Okay. And so you announce your presence in that way, and it takes a moment as you can hear some rustling inside, and you hear from the inside, "Who is it?"
First of all, as I knock, blush of life.
Go ahead and rouse for me.
I'm actually gonna do the same.
Okay. Go ahead and rouse. Miss Violet, that sting in your belly, it's getting louder. It's getting a little hard to concentrate.
It's back.
Mm-hmm. You think we can have a bite of this little tasty morsel?
Not until we know what's going on. Besides which, our club is almost up soon. We won't need to worry about the morsels. We'll soon have a lovely little banquet feast.
I look forward to that bit.
Dinner and a show. It's always a treat.
And you do hear Father Trent's voice. Amber, you recognize his voice saying, "Who is it?" on the outside.
And Violet will sort of call out, putting the sort of saying, "Is that Father Trent?"
Yes, who is it?
My name is Jeannie. I'm sorry. I didn't know where else to go.
And you see that the door opens.
The moment I lock eyes with him, I am using enchantment.
Okay. Go ahead and roll the rouse for that. Even more tasty looking. He's old. What does it matter?
This is a check he can try and resist.
Okay.
So he needs to roll composure plus wits.
Composure and wits. Let's look and see if he can resist it.
He needs to beat 4.
He is going to spend a willpower to try and resist. Nope. You have him under entrancement.
Just because I can and because I want this to last. And also because he spent a willpower, I'm going to spend one just to add on to that, hopefully.
Okay.
So re-rolling 3 dice. Excellent. So you roll 2, 3, so that would have been... Okay,
Yep,
I
you
have
beat
it.
him by a margin of 2.
Yeah, so that's for the next 3 hours.
Perfect. Pleasure to meet you, Jeannie. What can I do for you? And he looks over to the differently dressed Amber and says, "And your name is?"
Oh, pardon. I'm Jennifer.
I didn't realize there was 2 of you here.
She's my friend. Sorry, she's the one who recommended we come here. Please, Father, could we come in? It's so cold out here.
Oh, okay. It's all right. It's September, but all right. And he ushers the both of you in.
And Violet is in, which means I
Yep.
don't need to worry about that bane.
Mm-hmm. And he leads you to a small living room kind of area where he has a coffee table set up and 2 couches opposing each other. And he kind of goes to the kitchen portion and says, "Can I get you some tea?"
Yes, please.
And he starts he pulls a pitcher out of the refrigerator and starts making 2 glasses of iced tea. 3 glasses, actually, for all of you.
I quickly lean over to Amber, and I just quickly whisper, what was the girl in the hospital's name?
Amber would whisper back. Her name was Hannah.
Good. Try and act scared / upset.
Yep. faces on. In that, I'm somewhat hiding my fear to be strong for my friend here, who is very obviously frightened.
I would like both of you to make manipulation subterfuge, just to get a baseline.
This is adding my presence rating.
Yes, it would add your presence rating for you.
No, I don't think feign innocence specialization would apply here. Yeah, no. Oh, I am willpowering that. Oh.
Okay. He comes back with 3 glasses of iced tea in his hand, kind of shaking a little bit, but not very much. You can see that he's pretty well in age because he moves kind of slowly, and just Sets the 3 glasses on the coffee table and sits across from both of you. Uh, what can I do for you? It's rather late.
Sorry, Father. I didn't know where else to go. I can't go to the police. He's an officer. Then I wouldn't be safe there. And
Speak
my
your mind,
boyfriend,
child.
I have the papers. Did you read about the girl, Hannah?
Yes, I did. It's a tragic, very, very tragic.
I knew her.
As did I. She's a member of this congregation.
Did you know her boyfriend?
Boyfriend. I wasn't aware that she had one.
They were relatively new. He she called him Deacon.
Deacon?
Said he was. Yes, Deacon. Said he was a police officer.
I know Deacon as well. He's a member of this church.
That would explain it. That might have been how they met. She said they were only going out a little while, but she said he was married?
Yes, he is, and he's going to roll an insight on you.
Would this be a new subterfuge roll?
Yes. The original was to get your kind of baseline, how you're composing yourself. That's a messy crit.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to willpower that one. So, re-rolling. Re-rolling 3 dice because I still need to try and beat that 5 successes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That is...
That changes that to 5?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So... meets it beats. So... Since he's the attacker with the insight on you and you're the defender with the subterfuge, he doesn't know why you're lying, but he knows that there's something off. I find that hard to believe. He's an upstanding policeman, and he's got
That's why I couldn't go to the cops.
And you're worried he's the one who attacked Hannah.
She said she was getting scared that he wasn't who she thought he was. I don't know, but now you're telling me he's married? That could be it.
Yeah, you said you knew that too. And he...
Well, I don't know.
What is your worry, my child?
I need guidance, Father. I I need someone who can help me make a report, because if I go in there alone, I'm afraid I'll just disappear or be ignored. But if a priest came in and at least raised concern, not even made an accusation, but just asked for an investigation, then that would add weight, right?
I mean, I'm sure. I think I'm a little bit confused as to why it is you need to file a report against Deacon Johnson.
Because I think he was... Hannah was assaulted and ended up in hospital, and she feared for her life, and someone came and visited her, said they were a member of this congregation, and next thing you know, there's police, but then they don't see anything as she jumps to her death.
It's a big accusation, Miss Jeannie. I can do what I can to go in with you to file the report, but I must say that the officer's character has always been very good. And it could be that he has pulled the wool over my eyes. But ultimately, it is the Lord's judgment. We can assist and get him and see about getting justice.
I didn't mean for my interjection, Father Jeannie, but Jeannie isn't wrong in raising that there's something wrong. I told her to come here as said she was frightened and needed guidance, and this was also prompted by the fact that a lot of the signs have been pointing to Deacon being unfaithful and having affairs, possibly very much with Hannah. As Jeannie came to me with these problems, and I had a look, did some looking around on social media, and I found that Deacon is never at home. He doesn't have pictures of his wife or anything like that up on his social media, not in a big way anyway, and that it seems that the relationship is becoming increasingly distant, and that's what caused me to worry, to bring her to you, to bring Jeannie to you to receive guidance, because I didn't know how to help.
It's definitely very concerning. When did you want to file this report?
I hate to ask, but could we go now? I'm afraid that if I leave it any later, I'll chicken out.
Very well. And he calls into the room and calls, "Leslie, will you hold down the fort?" And there is a woman who comes out of an office door. Yes, I can. Oh, there's paperwork that I can finish doing. She locks eyes with you, Violet.
Yep. And I'm gonna insight check her.
Mm-hmm. What are you trying to read?
I'm trying to read her immediate emotional reaction upon seeing me, see if it's recognition, considering I am currently disguised.
Mm.
It's insight plus 1 because it's emotions.
You can tell that she is shocked to see you, to say the least.
So she definitely recognizes me.
She does. Your face is hard to miss. Yes. I will get right on that. And she goes back into that office space and closes the door behind her. All right. Let's get to it then.
Of course. Thank you, Father. And Violet will sort of just stand up and sort of turn to Amber and say, we parked just down the block. We
That's fine. We can take
weren't
my
even
car.
sure if you'd be-"
I'd need to come back here anyway.
Thank you.
And Father Trent begins to escort you both out of the building.
It'll be to his car.
Is there anything else you intend to do while Father Trent is in the vehicle with you? Or do you go straight to the police station and file the report?
I'm now just trying to, sorry, need to rethink. As we're in the car, I would just sort of say, who was that?
Oh, she's new to the congregation, but she's delightful. She's helping me with all the fancy technology.
I see.
Newfangled gadgets and all of that.
I'm sorry, Father. Would you mind if my friend drove? I'm rather panicky at the moment, and I'm just. I'm
I'll
so
I'll
scared.
go ahead and drive. It's fine. And he takes the driver's seats, and you both can take whatever seat you like in the vehicle. He's got a four-door sedan. It's kind of old. And begins to drive you both to the nearest police precinct.
I will wait until we're at a red light.
Mhm.
Pull lipstick out of my purse. Put it to the back of his head. And say, unless you want me to blow your brains out, do not move. Just keep driving. And intimidation him.
Okay, then roll me a manipulation plus intimidation.
+3 due to entrancement.
Mm-hmm.
Willpower in that.
Okay, go for it. And he is going to try and see through that with a wit's insight.
That's better. Oh, fuck you, Father.
He is calm, but complies. Where do you need to go?
And away from her, away from Leslie. That's what you called her, isn't it?
Yes, that's her name that she gave me. Yes.
I knew her father. I knew her in Detroit. She's followed me all the way here.
We don't need to get all violent or anything. We can pull over and we can talk about it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's gonna be all right, child. And he pulls over into the nearest parking lot. And he kind of leaves his hands kind of on the steering wheel. Doesn't look back at you. Tell me what's going on.
There was this man in Detroit. His name was Father Wild. He had a thing for girls like me. And Leslie, back then she used to go by the name Madam or Madame.
Mm-hmm.
She was his recruiter. She would find us. She would train us to be exactly what he wanted. I thought I got away from her, and then I see her in your office.
He kind of leans back in the seat a little bit. All right. I can understand why that's got you shaken up.
I wanted to help my friend, and now I see this. I gotta leave. I gotta leave again.
Leave.
She can't be trusted, Father. No matter what she says, no matter what she does, she is lying. You must believe me on this.
Roll me a charisma plus persuasion.
I'd like to add teamwork to this if I can.
How are you adding teamwork? You haven't said anything.
Well, I was just about to speak up
Okay.
and say, she is telling the truth, Father. She has told me all about this, and
Then add a
It-
+1 for Amber's help.
Okay. Persuasion, charisma +4.
He's sitting on 6 successes. Oh. That's messy.
At this point, the entire thing is fucking messy. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I cannot remember. If I get another 10, it's still a messy, isn't it?
It is.
Messy takes priority.
Yeah. Regardless, that 10 is in that hunger dice. You cannot change that.
Yeah, no, I know. Oh god, that's a risk.
It's your decision. Messy crit. Or do you change it?
Gonna try willpower reroll.
Alright.
I don't think there's a chance to win, even if you do willpower.
He's only sitting on 6 successes, so
Yeah, that's not enough though. That's a 5.
that's 5. Okay.
I mean, to point out though,
He's only trying to read that you're telling the truth.
yeah, and I am. Everything I've said there is 100% true.
And that's what he picks up on. Alright. Okay. Alright. So what do you want to do about it, Genie?
It's Violet. Actually, that's the name she knows me by. That's the name she'll try and tell you to convince you that I'm lying.
Okay.
What's she done? What's she doing? Why did she come to you? What does she want?
I couldn't tell you. She's looking for a job. And I needed someone to help me, get on the Facebook and all of this other stuff, and she felt that it would be good for the congregation, so that's what I did.
Insight check?
Go for it.
And is this or isn't this a social check?
Be a wits insight for you.
So yeah, it wouldn't be part of the social. So.
He's 100% telling the truth. Whatever it is that Leslie told him was exactly what he believes.
She can't be trusted, Father. She has an ulterior motive. She was probably using you to get to me.
Never said as much. The name Violet or Jeannie's never come up.
She knows I'm of faith. I am drawn to ministry.
Running away from your problems is not going to solve them, child. Gotta face them one day. And I will take everything that you have said into consideration.
Okay, thank you, Father. I understand if you don't want to make a police report, but I would still like to see justice for my friend.
I'm willing to help you. Just gotta tell me what you want me to do. What can I do? What can this old coot do? That made you smile, didn't I?
A little.
It's gonna be okay. The Lord's got your back, child. He always does for his faithful.
Everything I said tonight wasn't under confession. I would ask you, please think about this, and if you... I'm sorry, I cannot think straight right now. If tomorrow you feel that what I've said may even have the slightest bit of merit, that Deacon might have been responsible for what happened to Hannah, then please just go and even just say a member of your congregation gave it to you, but you cannot let it sit in good faith.
I understand.
They would listen to a man with a cloth, right?
Well, I can definitely try. I know a couple of the sergeants over there that are desk pushers, so I don't know, maybe they'll listen to me, you know, being their pastor and all.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
You have nothing to be sorry for, child. That's fine. I'll drive you back. And he starts the car again to drive back to the church where he assumes that you parked.
Close enough.
And with that, I think we're going to catch up with Velda and John for a moment. You both were hanging around the city for a little while. What are you doing?
First of all, Velda would be locating John.
Wouldn't be hard given the fact he was in the club.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It is assumed that you have met up. Unless there's something you want to do beforehand.
I'm just picking up rodent traps from the hardware store at this point.
John, we have a job to do.
The hell you say?
We have a job to do.
Yeah, I did my job, and I did your job.
My job?
Well, Trent ain't an issue no more.
No. Well, Velda proceeds to give him all the information that they had found out on Trent. And give him a rundown of all that.
John, you now know everything there is to know about Trent that everybody else in this coterie knows.
If he's such a problem, put a 22 in the back of his head and call it a goddamn night.
Well, that's supposed to be what Amber and Violet are up to. But our job is a little
How
bit
hard can it
more...
be to get him in a car, have him drive you around, and
John.
as soon as he parked, put it right to the back of his skull and pull the damn trigger? How hard
We
can
have
it
another
be?
problem to deal with.
Fuck.
Related, but not the same.
What's that?
This woman, Leslie. We're to give her an invitation.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry you've gotten stuck with me. Sure, I'm certainly not what you're used to working with.
Honey, you have no idea what I'm used to working with.
I would wager that you're used to working alone. No?
You ain't even close, honey. But this is... Alright, so we're supposed to send an invitation. Fine, I'll drive you on over. You tell me where we're going. You go on, knock on the door, say, Lord of it, sanctuary doth here extend hospitality and invitation one night hence in order to end up facilitating discussions that may serve to the betterment of both of our beloved parties.
My. And Urian thought you could learn some table manners. Seems you already know them.
Yeah, I know them, just don't need to use them.
That's what I thought. But we are headed to the church. You don't have any problems with church grounds?
No.
Well, I'm glad that got a laugh out of you. So, shall we?
Yeah, sure. All I need to do is sit in the car and let you do your job.
Of course.
So, why do I need to be dragged in? Oh, right.
Because I've been asked to stick with you. And I intend to be a good little girl and do as I'm told.
Oh. So you're my new handler. Okay.
I wouldn't say that.
And what would you call it?
I would say I've been put with you because I've been separated from Amber. Apparently, two roses working together is a bit of an issue.
Maybe you're just a daft cunt.
Maybe. We'll see.
God damn. It's always roses. Alright. Get driving.
And they would head for the church. Valda would still be wearing the disguise. She actually probably wouldn't have removed it.
Alright, the two of you make your way towards Prince of Peace Catholic Church yet again.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you do?
So having scouted this place out, I know where the parish house is.
Mm-hmm.
I'd make my way around to it and knock on the door.
And when you knock on the door, it does take a moment for that woman you saw to answer. Oh. Hello.
Well. Hello to you. See, now that there's a proper woman.
Can I help you both?
Sure. Name's John.
Leslie.
Is the father in?
No, sadly he's out.
Fantastic. I'm here to talk to you. I'll make this short.
Good. I have an invitation for you.
Oh,
I'd like to take you to Lush.
lush.
Acquaintance of ours who would like to meet you.
Devil Sanctuary.
Hmm.
He's very interested in you, and I think he has made it very clear that attendance isn't mandatory. You kind of caught his attention. I'm not sure why, but definitely see why he caught mine.
I see.
Don't mind the crude old man. But, yes, we are here to extend an invitation. Seems you have quite talents. Quite the talents.
I knew I recognized you. You don't actually change your facial features.
Well, it's more for the cameras than for anything else.
Am I looking at a problem?
If
Delta,
you don't
can
come
you
with
give
us,
us a
maybe.
moment? And that's fine. Successes.
Intelligence plus resolve, Velda.
Fine, fine.
And
Just kinda
Velda walks
watching
away.
this. Yeah. It was that kind of trick, wasn't it?
Maybe it was.
Appreciate the artistry of it. You know, one of mine. Oh, look, you got a photo of him right there in the front. His most famous pose.
Hmm.
You know, supposedly I got a blood relation to him.
Do tell.
Ah. You know, the old man ended up saying that there was a time where he swore he just looked into the eyes of Christ in the candlelit sanctorum, and he swore that the statue smiled at him. It was then he knew. And he knew. See, everybody else professes faith. I think I know better. But, that being said, I'm not here to ruffle your feathers. I'm here to extend the invitation on official record. I've done that, I can speak off record.
Okay.
So let's try this again. Name's John Bell.
The name's Leslie.
Then I'll assume that Leslie is the appropriate name. I will say this.
Also called Madame.
Madame, see, that is so much more appropriate of a title.
Yes. Haven't had to use my real name in a long time.
I would assume it's hiding from more than just men in white collars. I have a fondness for churches. I have a fondness for history. And I have a fondness for pretty things that are smart enough to keep their head down. So, fair warning. Figure I'd tell you the invitation's there. If you need somebody to serve as backup, I'll do it. Free of charge.
Free of charge.
Because in times like this, somebody's got to extend an olive branch. And I figured you might do better than with somebody who's straightforward than dance for half an hour that goes nowhere.
I'll hold you to that.
I hope you didn't hold more than that. But I hope at the very least you can appreciate the sincerity of the moment. Though I have to ask, why Father Trent, of all people? I mean, you got tech skills, right? You're fairly modern.
Fairly. About as modern as
Religious?
you, I would imagine.
No. See, for me, he kind of places his hand against the doorwell and the shadow kind of creeps up and starts to spindle a little bit. Like it's dancing for his amusement. See, my kind don't get along with it too well.
What a
At least
shame.
I'm staying out in the doorway. Yours, on the other hand, I have to ask, are you opposed to bright lights for comfort's sake?
No. Can't even say that I have a foot in the grave.
Really? But this doesn't weird you out. You've been around the block more than once.
Shows you how old I may be.
Well, I'd give you a card, but cell phones and me don't mix, so if you need to get a hold of me, kind of looks to one of the windows. He gestures up, 3rd floor. Put a purple light out. Leave it up there for a couple days. I'll come knocking eventually.
Perfect.
Alright.
Invitation received.
Now do me a favor. Kind of checks to make sure Velda might, because he's pretty sure Velda will be walking backwards, at least staring. Do me a favor. Give me a good slap across the cheek right now. Turn away like as if you're offended.
She's gonna go full on and slap you in the face. And it stings a little.
Yeah, he doesn't. He just kind of accepts it. Rubs his cheek. Have a good day, man.
And she slams the door on you.
He smiles, like grinning like a son of a gun as he starts walking. He's got a little bit of a strut going on as he's walking Velda's car.
Velda, John's walking back toward you. After you've reached
That's
your
okay.
car, you snap back and realize that you had again been commanded to do something against your will.
That's all right. She is going to wait there for him.
He's just rubbing his cheek, smiling wide. Finally arrives. Gets in the car. Lays back. You know, wasn't a good night until somebody got slapped.
I'm sure.
What can I say? One
I
too many
thought you were going to wait in the car, John.
was, but then this turned out to be far more entertaining.
I'm sure.
Besides, you need somebody who's an expert in these things.
An expert.
Well, I can confirm a few things for you.
Go ahead.
Well, my guess, off the top, definitely not the Sombra, maybe. I'm getting the impression Tremere could
I think
be,
so.
could be Ventrue, prim and proper like it, but the name doesn't work. Name. But I know that I don't think that they're one of our dear Miss Violets. At least they didn't let on to it. So it helps you know what you're dealing with. Knowing you're down
She's
to a
sharp. She's a sharp woman.
few. Most are.
I would actually like to insight John.
Into what?
See how much of that was absolute shit.
Okay.
Roll either charisma persuasion or manipulation subterfuge, depending on if you're being
I
truthful.
haven't lied in a single sentence.
Then
I have
charisma
answered
persuasion.
every one of her questions directly.
Charisma persuasion versus wits insight. Yep. There's no way he's lying. No way.
Okay. You know, John, I can promise you, you're scary and all. But next time you pull that on me, you might find yourself with a stake in your back. I don't appreciate having that sort of stuff used on me. I don't follow orders well.
Yeah, I'm learning that.
Yeah.
Makes that tool even more valuable.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
But
So, if you want, go ahead, get your steak. I'll stand right here and you can go ahead.
I said next time. Until then, the invitation has been delivered. We've done what we need to do. Now, our dear friend Violet mentioned that you had an idea for feeding Benji.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if the store's open now that we've been dragged out. So,
Does it need to be through the stores?
look, we can end up here dealing with the whole Amazon shit later, but reality is how many do you need for rabbit traps?
Fair. Then back to the haven it is, I suppose.
And that, I believe, is where we are going to end our session for tonight. With Velda and John having delivered their invitation to the Madame, and Violet and Amber leaving the presence of Father Trent, each to go back to the coterie house, or to the meeting place at least.
Violet is in fact heading to Club Blush, calling ahead, letting Urian know she has to meet. It is urgent.
Fun stuff.
Fun stuff.
And Amber will be getting. Amber will, I suppose, follow her, if it's important.
Then we will pick up there next time.
Velda will also send Amber a text message, keeping her up to date with what they just did.
Okay.
Good game, everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, god damn it.
That
I'm
that went a little more tits up than I expected.
Oh, what are you talking about? That all went completely according to plan, as far as I can tell.
I mean, I had to change the details and manipulate some things, but
I suppose.
Good game, everybody.
Tits up would be the entire chapel is on fire. We're stuck in the basement with the body of Trent, while the Second Inquisition is currently not watching all the exits, and the Nosferatu are pissed at us, currently waiting for us to try and escape through the sewers. That's tits up.
That's see, that's more than tits up to me. That's any way you paint it, it's going to involve
That's what we did.
either torpor or final death, or worse.
see,
I
that's just
love the fact that. Go ahead.
no, that's just negative thinking. Why are you hitting me with those negative waves?
Yeah. Partially, I'm laughing because like John finds Velda adorable.
Oh, that's adorable.
It's like you do that again, I'll put a stake in your back. Oh, you look at you.
Look at you being threatening.
I half expected. All right, then I use compel. Go get your steak, bitch.
I can't.
It might be telling though that John didn't do that.
Oh no, we saw the other side of John in the interaction with Madame.
Hmm? What's the other side of John? There is no other side. He's about as straightforward as it gets.
If that was the case, well, why did he have her slap him?
Kinky.
Give it a thought.
But yeah, everybody gets experience. Well, actually, we have stains to resolve. Mr. Bill. We've already taken your conviction into consideration. Go ahead and roll your remorse. It sucks. Sucks hard. It's gonna stick with you for a bit.
Yeah, well. It sticks, but.
Velda, you brought up an interesting conversation about the fact that you're doing as you're told, but you don't take orders well.
Yes.
None may control me.
Got nothing to withstand that with.
You have a stain to take for that.
Yep.
Yeah, I can 100% confirm that is a bad one to have.
Mm-hmm.
Heckin' Raven. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm actually checking the other convictions that you have. Because you also respect Satanism and follow its tenets to the
Yes.
letter. Yep. I'm just looking over those. Okay. I don't think you've broken any Satanistic tenet, so you are clear for
Nope.
that. Go ahead.
Which denomination?
I think she's Levian.
Church of Satan or
She's
Church
following
of
the
Satan?
Levian tenets.
And I had you add those to your character sheet as chronicle tenets because of the simple fact that you have the conviction to respect it and its laws.
Mm-hmm.
And go ahead and roll your remorse.
It's a 2. Oof.
Worth it. 100% worth it.
Cool.
You're
So
following these orders because they are going to save you from everything.
So does that lower my humanity?
It does.
Yep.
It does, and then you erase the stains that you took.
Okay.
Look at Velda gain her first humanity drop.
Oh,
The rest go just as quickly.
they do.
That's all right.
All right.
Just to double check, are we talking the 9 satanic statements or the 11 satanic rules?
Actually, that would be the 9 satanic sins. Stupidity here.
It's the 7 fundamental tenets.
Okay, you're talking about the 7. Yeah.
That's the ones that
Yes.
she
In
gave
which
me.
case-
So
In which
Okay.
case, that's not Levian.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Wait, is it? I
No,
We
that
can-
that's temple. That's satanic temple.
Is
That's
that
a different
Satanic
thing.
Temple?
That's
Yeah.
satanic temple. Levian was the 9 satanic statements, the 11 satanic rules of earth, and the 9 satanic sins.
but we can argue that out of character.
It's all good.
And
Either way, if she didn't break any, she didn't break any.
she didn't break any of the ones that she gave me. So
No
that's
worries.
the important part. The next thing is experience. So 1 to everyone.
Yay.
Derek, I'm gonna allow you.
Yay.
I'm gonna allow you your choice of Urian or John to take that experience.
I'm gonna give it to John.
Okay. So, who had the best scene?
I'm gonna end up giving that to Violet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's to Violet.
All the Violet with the priest. Yeah.
Ooh, yes, I loved that scene so much. I loved it. I loved how much Violet was just shaken. Ugh, love it. I live for tragedy, y'all.
She wasn't shaken. She was using that.
Mm.
She's like, okay, Madame is here. I can use this. Because, specifically, there is no way that priest would let Madame in his house if he knew who she really was. Therefore, I can use that.
And that one, Amber's just like, what the hell is this?
Plot mover.
I think I'm gonna have to take that one on John. Or no. Actually, I would say no. That's got to be Violet again.
I would
Violet's the
actually
one
put
that.
forward Velda.
Oh,
Yeah.
why Velda?
And why
Because
Violet?
she was kind of in charge of all that shit that was happening at the church. Getting
Yeah,
all that
fine.
information.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
I
as
can
far
see
as
it.
first meeting Leslie, like
Okay.
the coterie becoming aware of her and everything like that, that was definitely on
Yeah,
Velda.
that sort of kicked off the majority of tonight. I'd happily give that to Velvet.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. I can see the reasoning behind that. I was gonna say Violet because it kickstarted the plot with Madame. It complicated the point with Trent. Was spearheading the discussion with Urian. So there was a fair amount of involvement there,
Counterpoint,
but
I was not active with introducing Madame. That just happened to be it was a character related to my background.
nevertheless, it builds the stakes. But no, like I said, I'll end up giving that to Velda, certainly.
Any other arguments?
No, I think we got 3
Pretty
for Velda.
unanimous. All right.
Yeah.
Best line.
That goes for John.
Which one?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Calling
John.
Velda a cunt.
Velda not being left alone as far as John's jibing goes.
Oh well.
I-
Or even Velda, give us a moment, will you?
Yeah, dominated not once but twice in a single setting. Like, fuck off.
Ooh,
In
I'm
the
sorry,
words of a
Velda.
particular, in the words of a particular demonic spineless jackass, just stop doing that.
Beautiful, beautiful. That does it for experience. Who recovered willpower today?
I would say I have, as I believe I have fulfilled the point of my desire today.
I believe so. Velda, you pointed out earlier that you had also fulfilled your desire for today, so you go ahead and recover an aggravated.
I'll leave it up to you, Coffee, to say whether I actually succeed in this desire, but my desire was plant seed of doubt in Benji's mind.
Seeds of doubt? Yes. 100%? You're not sure.
I never expected 100% in the first visit.
And I think that's all of them. That's all of you. So.
I didn't fulfill mine this session.
Ah, boo. Yeah, that's going to take a little bit. That's going to take a little more effort than you had realized.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just gotten more and more complicated. And that desire was written at a point where Emma was like, "Well, we're just gonna do this plan and get him out of the way. It's gonna be good." And then,
like I said, you can change it before the start of every session. You do not have to stick with it if it does not actually serve you.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna end up changing it. I'll think of something.
During session, no. After the session, yes.
Well, yeah. No, I'm gonna end up changing it between now and next session.
Perfect. Well, that does it for everybody. That does it for everything we need to do as far as out-of-character stuff for the end of the session. We are going to go ahead and... Oh, my goodness. Maddie just subscribed for 15 months! Thanks, Maddie, for the sub. But yeah.
I get.
That does it for us today. Say goodnight, everybody.
Night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.